Broke. That's it. I repeated under my breath, my voice thick with a blend of disbelief and indignation as I stared at the empty parking space where my beloved car had once sat today. It was that familiar winter chill in the air, the kind that seeps into your bones and makes you feel every bit of loneliness. My name is Michael Turner, and until just a few months ago, I believed that love could overcome any obstacle, even a bank balance that wasn't quite what she wanted. But nothing prepared me for the shock that unfolded one fateful evening at our company's annual holiday party. It all began when she left me. Not amid a dramatic breakup filled with heated words and tearful goodbyes, but rather in a quiet moment that cut deeper than any argument ever could. Sarah, my fiancée of 3 years, had told me, "Mike, I can't do this anymore. I need someone who can provide the lifestyle I deserve. I'm sorry, but I'm leaving." Those words, as cold as they were final, shattered every dream we had built together, every hope of a future as bright as the winter lights outside my window. I was heartbroken, having spent years building my modest life with hard work, dedication, and sacrifices that kept us afloat even when money was tight. I knew I wasn't rich. I'd struggled to pay rent, to buy a decent car, and to make ends meet. But I'd always believed that love was about more than just a bank balance. I wanted to build a life with Sarah, a life filled with sincerity, ambition, and the comfort that comes from mutual support. Her departure cut me deeply, and for weeks, I barely left my apartment, haunted by memories of shared laughter and whispered promises in the dark. The silent aftermath. In the quiet aftermath of our breakup, every corner of my world reminded me of what was lost. The small apartment felt cavernous without her, and every quiet night spent alone was a reminder of dreams that had died before they could bloom. I ruminated on every conversation, wondering where I had fallen short. Friends tried to console me, saying things like, maybe she was looking for someone with more money. And while I tried to smile in thanks, the pain was raw and unyielding. One especially bitter evening, as I was scrolling through social media and nursing a cup of cold coffee, I saw a post from one of my coworkers about our upcoming company holiday party, a festive event that, every year, brought our team together in a celebration of success and camaraderie. Amid posts about festive attire and cheerful gatherings, one detail caught my eye like a jolt of electricity: a photo of Sarah, dressed in a smart uniform, smiling warmly as she waited on tables at the party. My heart sank. The same woman who had left me because I was broke was now working as a waitress at my company's holiday party. I couldn't believe it. I stared at the image on my phone, a close-up of her at the reception table, her smile polite, but something in her eyes seemed guarded, almost as if they carried secrets. It was like a punch in the gut. She's here, at my work party. I thought, anger and a bitter sense of irony mingling in my chest. I was no longer just dealing with the sting of her departure. I was now forced to see her, day after day, mingling among my colleagues in an unexpected, jarring new role. The collision of worlds. The day of the holiday party arrived with a mixture of festive cheer and underlying tension I could almost taste. Our office had been transformed into a winter wonderland, a play of twinkling lights, garlands draped across walls, and the hum of holiday music filling the air. I arrived early, trying to mask my inner turmoil with a forced smile, determined to focus on the professional achievements of the year. I mingled with colleagues, sharing laughs and congratulatory remarks, but a disquieting thought lingered like a shadow. Every time I glanced over at the service area, I'd see Sarah moving among the tables, serving food and drinks with an efficiency that was almost robotic. As the night wore on, I could feel my emotions battling within me. Every time my eyes inadvertently met hers, across the crowded room or while she passed by my table, the memory of her parting words reverberated in my mind. "You're too broke, too boring for me," she had said, as if my lack of financial flair were a personal failing rather than the inevitable reality of a hard-working guy like me. Unable to contain my need for resolution, I decided to approach her during a lull in the festivities. I waited until the music softened to a gentle background hum and found a moment alone near the refreshment area. "Sarah," I began, voice steady but laced with years of unspoken pain, "I saw you at the party tonight. I need to understand. Why did you leave me? Was it really just about the money?" Her eyes widened slightly as I spoke, and for a moment, a flicker of hesitation crossed her face. Then she replied quietly, "Michael, I'm sorry. I thought that I needed something more, something different. I believed that money would make everything better, that you weren't able to give me what I wanted." Her words, though soft, carried an edge of resignation. I felt a mixture of empathy and anger, the kind that arises from seeing the truth, however painful, laid bare. I worked so hard, Sarah. I wasn't perfect, but I always believed in us, in our future. And now, here you are, working tables at my company's holiday party. It stings, not just because of my pride, but because it reminds me of what we lost. I paused, trying to steady my voice. I didn't just lose you. I lost the dreams we had, the future I thought we'd build together. She looked away, her eyes glistening with tears that betrayed her calm exterior. I'm trying to do what I need to do. I thought that if I could prove myself in a different way, if I could survive in the world you live in, I'd be better off, she whispered. I could see that there was more there than just a convenient excuse. There was pain, regret, and perhaps even a glimmer of self-realization. A night of confrontation and healing. For the rest of the evening, I struggled to reconcile the woman I once loved with the person standing before me now. I stayed at the party, torn between the professional obligation of celebrating our company's successes and the raw, personal wound that her actions had inflicted on me. Every laugh, every toast, and every holiday cheer felt tainted by the bitter reality of our breakup. I retreated to a quiet corner, reflecting on what I had to do next. I realized that while I couldn't force her to say the things I wanted to hear or change the decisions she'd made, I could control how I responded to them. I decided that I needed to reclaim my own sense of worth, to rebuild my life on a foundation that wasn't defined by someone else's lack of vision or empathy. In the days that followed, I began focusing on myself. I threw myself into my work with renewed determination, channeling the heartbreak into creativity and ambition. I revisited passions that I'd set aside for the comfort of a relationship: photography, long walks, late-night writing sessions at my favorite cafe. I started a blog titled Rising from the Shadows, where I documented my journey of heartbreak, recovery, and self-discovery. My words, raw and honest, resonated with strangers who were going through their own trials, and slowly, I began to see that even the most painful betrayals could become catalysts for profound growth. I learned that there was beauty in the process of healing, even if it meant facing uncomfortable truths and opening old wounds. I found that by expressing my pain, I was not only liberating myself but also connecting with others who had been similarly betrayed. In each blog post, I detailed the small victories, the days when getting out of bed felt like a triumph, the moments when a kind word from a friend reminded me that I was still valued, and even the bittersweet memories of what once was. With every entry, I reclaimed a piece of my dignity that had once been overshadowed by betrayal. New beginnings and unexpected strength. Months passed, and as winter gave way to the first hints of spring, I began to see a different side of life unfolding. My company recognized my renewed spirit and creative energy. Projects I had led with passion began to see real success, and I was slowly moving forward, step by step. I received invitations to speak at industry events, and my blog gained a loyal following. People reached out to me, thanking me for sharing my story, for showing that even when you're left behind, there's a way to build something beautiful from the ruins. One crisp morning, as I was preparing for a presentation at a local conference on resilience and innovation, I glanced at my phone and saw a message from a colleague. "Hey, Mike, just saw your blog post. Rising from the Shadows is incredible. Keep shining." Reading that, I realized that while the past had been painful, it was now a stepping stone to something greater. I wasn't defined by the moment Sarah left me. I was defined by the journey I had undertaken to rediscover my worth. And every word on my blog was a reminder not just of what I had lost, but of all that I had gained. I began to embrace my new identity, a man who had experienced a bitter betrayal but had chosen to fight for his future regardless. I reached out to old friends, reconnected with some whom I had lost touch with during the dark days, and even started exploring new hobbies. I took a photography course that allowed me to capture the raw, unscripted beauty of life, and I even started running on chilly mornings, letting the rhythm of my footsteps wash away the remnants of sorrow. In time, I learned that our greatest transformations often come from the moments when we feel most broken. Yes, Sarah had left me because she believed I was too broke to offer what she desired, and while that hurt, it eventually gave me the push I needed to redefine my life on my own terms. I built a future that wasn't dependent on her validation, a future that was bursting with creativity, determination, and an unshakable belief in myself. A final word. Now, as I sit here in the quiet of my home office, with the soft hum of my laptop and the distant chatter of the city outside, I reflect on how far I've come. The pain of that fateful day when Sarah declared I was just too broke lingers like a bittersweet memory, but it no longer controls my destiny. Instead, It has become a part of my story, a story of resilience, self-discovery, and unexpected new beginnings. I learned that when you are betrayed and left in the dark, every challenge is an opportunity. An opportunity to rebuild, to redefine your identity, and to show the world that even when someone you love abandons you for superficial reasons, you can rise from the ashes with greater strength. My journey taught me that true worth isn't determined by money or status. It's defined by the passion you pour into your life and the integrity with which you face every setback. To anyone reading this who has ever been told you're not enough, who has been left to wonder how you could ever measure up when someone you loved walked away, it is not the end. Use that pain as fuel to drive you toward a future that is unequivocally your own. Document your journey, embrace every hardship as a lesson, and let your setbacks be the foundation upon which you rebuild your life. This is my story, a story of heartbreak, betrayal, and the relentless pursuit of self-worth. I was once left alone with emptiness and the echo of dismissive words, but through every step of that painful journey, I learned to reclaim my identity and stand tall. I discovered that even when someone leaves because they think you're not wealthy enough, you have the power to redefine your future through resilience, hard work, and an unwavering belief in your own worth. May my journey inspire you to find hope even in the darkest of times, to transform betrayal into a stepping stone for success, and to always remember that your true worth is measured not by what others say about you but by the light you hold within. Embrace your story, for it is uniquely yours, a masterpiece of struggle and triumph that only you can write.